Hey everyone, I'm back. It's been about a week since I posted my last update, and I'm sorry if you were following along on my detox journey. I last posted my update, and I had done one full day of fasting, and I was into my second day, and I had to pick up my kids from the airport, and then I was having them home. And I have to say that, well, I was feeling like I failed because after they got home, I pretty much broke my fast. Um, in the end, I ended up doing about 43 hours, and I had intended on doing 3 days. So I did I did fall short of what I was hoping to do, but I was feeling pretty hard done by, like, on my feeling, giving myself a hard time. And then I kind of thought to myself, well, I haven't done a detox or fast or anything well, I've never really done a full fast. I've done detox journeys before, but that was once 20 years ago. So I kind of then felt, well, I actually didn't fail. I did 43 hours, and that's something to be impressed about. And I then found a couple of YouTube videos from doctors who were talking about fasting, and it made me feel a bit better that I got as far as I did, and that things would have still happened in my body. And I just want to say that even though I only did 43 hours in the end, I do intend on doing this again. I felt really good after it. The day I ended the fast, I had a really bad headache, and it was getting really quite uncomfortable. It was getting worse, and that's one of the reasons also why I stopped the fast. Was my headache was getting really quite intense, and I was starting to feel a little bit wonky, so I decided to end it. And yeah, so I left it with that. But after the next day, I had so much more energy, like so much more energy than I've had in a long, long time. And I got things done around the house without having to take a break. And I was just go, 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 which is not like me. With all my health issues I've had, energy is really, really hard for me to find. And after the fast, I had a lot of energy, and I felt really good. And that's sort of continued. It's worn off a little bit now that it's a week past. But I'm inspired to keep going, and I want to try it again. I am well overweight, and I want to try and get my weight down. And with the health complaints that I have, I find that it's really hard for me to lose weight. And I'm really keen to actually try doing this more regularly to see if that'll help bring my weight down. I know it's effectively starving yourself, but at the same time, I have some health conditions, and if I can get them under control and fast enough so that I have stem cells floating around in my body ready to heal things, then I think that's a really positive step forward and way forward for myself, where doctors haven't been able to help me much in what I've had. Sorry. Another thing that I did have happen through the week was, I don't know if you remember, I was talking about having a really sore back, and that continued all week. So my back actually got worse to the point I couldn't really walk a lot. So then I think my hip was actually out, and because I rolled over in bed on Thursday night, and I heard this massive clunk in my hip, and then it started to get better from there. So I don't think the fast, well, I mean, it must have contributed to it in some way. Maybe my hip and my joints were always swollen, and then with the fasting the swelling went down, and so maybe my joint was moving a bit more out of place and it felt uncomfortable. And then on Thursday, I actually stayed home and rested instead of going to work. Even I was still going to work, I wasn't able to move around very much. I was sitting down a lot, but I was still going to work. Thursday, I had the day off, and I was laying and resting most of the day. And so, yeah, Thursday night in bed, I rolled over and I heard this clunk, and now it started to get better. So I'm wondering if the resting it on Thursday meant the swelling went down a little bit and it was enough to enable it to go back into place. I'm not sure what was going on with that, but it's quite interesting that it did start last week with the fast. So, yeah, I have no idea what the cause was and why, but anyway, I just wanted to come on and let you know that I'd finished the fast. I did 43 hours, and although I was very disappointed in myself to start with, I'm now feeling proud of myself for the amount of time that I did. To go into that with not fasting before and to do that long was probably a really big ask. So I definitely intend on building this up and to continue this fasting and see how I go. It was quite interesting, the psychological effects that came up, like not liking being hungry and that playing on my mind. So I do believe in fasting as a spiritual practice, because there were definitely things that came up for me that I had to work through in those regards. But I want to encourage you, if you're thinking about going on a fast, the amount of energy I had the next day, clear-headedness, even my eyesight. I've had a bit of a funny eye recently, and it's always had pressure in it, high pressure, but not enough to put me over the level to have it something done for glaucoma and things. But it's always been at the really high tipping point in this eye. And I've had, and so lately I've noticed that I think my eyesight's not as good in that eye with things. And then after the fast, it seemed to be a lot better. So that's also something else that happened that I noticed in my body just from doing those 43 hours. So if you are, so I am very encouraged, and sorry, my cat's coming. I would definitely like to continue this. So I might even keep posting it and let you know how I go. So if you want to follow along, like and subscribe. So I've watched quite a few videos where they say to do it weekly to lose a lot of weight. I'm not sure that I'll go to that extreme just yet. Although I will say I watched one video in the Diary of a CEO podcast with a doctor. I can't remember his name. And he said that when our body's trying to push out insulin or glucose, I can't remember which one, we drink a lot of water. And I'm someone who drinks a lot of water, like over 3 litres a day. And since the fast, I've noticed that I've cut that right back to 1.5, 2 litres a day, which is probably more appropriate. So that was something I did notice. So hopefully that's reset my insulin a little bit. And I'd like to continue that because I have been worried about it. So if you want to join along and keep going and follow me, then please like and subscribe. This is a little bit different to the homesteading content that I will post on here as well. So if you only want to watch these videos, that's fine. I'll try and put them in a file and playlist and a different playlist so that people can just follow along. But and you don't have to watch the other ones, but I would really love you to follow along and let me know how you go. Have you ever tried a fast before? Are you planning on it? What's your reasons? Love to hear comments about this. I know it's basically starving yourself, and there's a lot of critics out there for intermittent fasting and things. However, if it gets my health back on track when doctors haven't been able to, I think it's definitely worth it. And I'm at the point in my life where I really want to try and start doing something about it. I've wanted to try and do something about it for a long time, but now I'm like, really, that's it. I'm doing something about it. So if you want to join along, I'd love to have you along for the journey with me. And I'd love to have people also going through similar things. So let me know in the comments. Is this something you would do? Is this something you would try? Are you intending on trying, or you just not interested? Let me know. So thank you for being here. I'm sorry it's taking a week to finish off this challenge. But yeah, I'm excited to continue, and I'll keep you updated. All right. Thanks for being here. Goodbye.